In the last few years, NBA fans have witnessed more and more European players taking over the league. European NBA players are changing the game now by taking their on-court abilities to a whole new level. With the last 4 regular season MVP winners being European, it's definite that they're here now, but the 2023 and 2024 top prospects are also from Europe, meaning they're going to hang around the league more and more as time goes by. Players such as Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, and Luka Doncic have transitioned their game to be the absolute leaders of their team night in and night out. So what seems to make the European players so great? Certainly there has to be something that European coaches and teams do differently than the Americans do. The US's way of getting players prepared to become pros may be to blame as much as the European way is to be applauded. In Europe, there's no AAU and load management problems. AAU basketball seems to have become counterproductive. Right now, AAU basketball has replaced high school basketball as the dominant form of developing young players. It's a basketball system where winning is devalued with players playing as much as 4 games a day and coaches focusing more on individual performance rather than teamwork and teaching their players how to develop good habits on the court. But if we look at the other side of the ocean, the European way of preparing and developing young players is much more different. This way of preparation may be the main reason why European talent is flooding the NBA. With an honorable exception in Giannis, we can comfortably say that none of the European NBA players are some other world-level athletes. Instead, they're players that rely much more on their all-around and fundamentally sound game rather than athleticism. So let's quickly draw some parallels between one and the other. While you can start playing AAU basketball once you reach your 9th birthday, in Europe, summer tournaments don't concern you until you're 13 or 14 years old. And those European tournaments are not just for everybody. Only the best of the best get the chance to participate, often representing their national team. In the US, there are no youth basketball clubs or schools. Instead, you play for your respective high school. In Europe, children play basketball for a club instead of their school. Their basketball clubs' budget and fundings often rely on their last performances, thus making winning extremely important for them, unlike in the US. Making the right play is more important than making a highlight play. Another thing is that in Europe, if you are the or one of the best players on the youth squad, you can get promoted to the senior team and having to play against grown men. This could either be a humbling or learning experience for these players. And lastly, quality of games in Europe is valued more than the quantity of games played. Usually, you'd have one game during the weekend and that would be it. In the meantime, teams focus on developing strategies and tactics on how to play against their next opponent. Thus, players may have different roles from one game to another. Playing and dominating against grown men at such an early age is the reason why nobody in Europe doubted Luka Doncic when he declared for the NBA draft. So, let's look at some European NBA players and their basketball experience before going into the NBA. Back-to-back MVP Nikola Jokic is a product of the great Serbian basketball factory Mega Basketball. He played there for 3 seasons, getting a shot in the first Serbian league at the age of only 17. In the 2013-14 season, Jokic started getting more of a chance, and he started to show hints of what he could one day become, averaging 11.4 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists in the Adriatic League. In his last season in 2014-15, Jokic had his career games for Mega. His improvements in his game were the main reason why Jokic was named MVP of the round, and finally winning the regular season MVP award as well. That season, Jokic averaged 15.4 points and a league-leading 9.3 rebounds, more than enough to win him the MVP award, despite his team finishing as the 10th best-placed team in the Adriatic League. He was also named the Adriatic League's top prospect. At the end of the season, Jokic parted ways with the team to join the Denver Nuggets and pursue an NBA career. Since his arrival in the NBA, Jokic's most notable features have been his all-around offensive game and his court vision, both of which stand out from the rest of the competition, especially against the centers. Rarely do we see big men that are able to play the game as if they were guards. In 2007, at the age of 13, Giannis Antetokounmpo started playing basketball. 4 years later, in 2011, he played with the senior men's team of Philadelphia in the semi-pro 3rd Division Greek Basket League. A few days after his 18th birthday, Giannis signed a 4-year deal with the Spanish club CAI Zaragoza. While several other European powerhouses were interested in signing him, such as Barcelona and Anadolu Efes, during the 2012-13 season, Giannis averaged 9.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 1.4 assists in 22.5 minutes per game. He was selected as a special participant in the 2013 Greek League All-Star Game. He was not selected by fans, but the coaches themselves figured he would be a good treat for the fans, so they voted him in. Giannis wasn't nearly as big of a name in Europe as he is today. Unlike his fellow European colleagues, Giannis dominates the game with his physical abilities as well as the technical ones. Domantas Sabonis is the son of legendary basketball player Arvydas Sabonis. Domantas was born in Portland, but he moved with his family to Spain after Arvydas finished his playing career. At just 16 years old, Domantas debuted for Unicaja Malaga against Sabonia Zagreb. He was later loaned to Klinichas Rincon, but returned to Malaga for the 2013-14 season. Domantas became the youngest player in club history to play for Unicaja in the ACB League at just 17 years, 5 months, and 10 days. A couple of days later, he made his EuroLeague debut as well. His on-court performances caught the eye of many scouts and managers, and in February 2014, Sabonis finished in the top 10 in the race for the 2013 FIBA Europe Young Men's Player of the Year award. While he was playing with the senior squad, Sabonis also dominated in youth competitions. He helped Unicaja's junior team win the Spain Youth Basketball League silver medal. In the finals, he dropped 14 points and 8 rebounds. During his time with Unicaja, Domantas never signed a professional deal with an actual salary in order to remain eligible to play in the NCAA. Today, Sabonis is an NBA All-Star, a fantastic big man who dominates the game due to his basketball IQ, toughness, and overall efficiency on the court, things that European players are taught from a very young age. After playing for multiple teams during his youth career, 18-year-old Bogdan Bogdanovic signed his first professional contract with Partizan. During his first 2 seasons at the club, he didn't get much playing time, but his minutes started to increase once Dusko Vujocevic returned as the head coach of Partizan. That season, he made his EuroLeague debut, averaging around 5 points per game in his 6 total appearances. His 2012-13 campaign earned him a spot for the Serbian national team, and with that, he earned even greater trust from his coach. As the 2013-14 season started, Bogdan started torching European teams. His first great game was against powerhouse CSKA Moscow, when he scored a career-high 27 points, enough to secure a win for Partizan. That season, Bogdan averaged 14.8 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 3.7 assists, which were all career highs, and significant improvements from the season prior. In the summer of 2014, Bogdanovic became a part of Fenerbahce, which were led by possibly the greatest European coach ever, Željko Obradović. Despite being a newcomer, Bogdan got the starting role right away. His first season was both hot and cold, but all in all, it was a good season for Bogdan as he managed to win the EuroLeague Rising Star Award for the 2nd consecutive season. In the next 2 seasons, Bogdanovic's game improved yet again. He became the leader of the Fenerbahce squad and was one of the go-to guys in late-game situations. His strong performances were put on hold for a while due to a right ankle sprain, but he returned strong in January 2017, proving that he's a major contributor to the team's success. He helped the club win their first EuroLeague championship, and that was the cherry on top of his European career. Bogdanovic made his NBA debut in 2017, and he's been a consistently good NBA player ever since. Bogdanovic's main strength is his versatile scoring ability, another trait of players developed in Europe. And of course, a video about European NBA players can't go on without mentioning Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic shone as a youth player way before he was known for what he is today. He made his professional debut for Union Olympia at age 16, becoming the youngest player to do so. After that, he became the youngest player for almost everything related to accolades in European basketball. Youngest EuroLeague MVP, youngest Final Four MVP, youngest ACB MVP, youngest EuroLeague MVP of the round, as well as youngest EuroLeague MVP of the month. Of course, he's a EuroLeague champion with Real Madrid and is a part of the EuroLeague 2010-20 All-Decade team. In the 2018 NBA Draft, Luka Doncic was selected 3rd overall by the Atlanta Hawks and was traded to the Dallas Mavericks for Trae Young and a protected future first-round pick. It was not a question for fans of the EuroLeague whether or not Luka was going to make it in the NBA, and they were right to think that. Luka's been one of the best players in the league ever since his debut. He's a complete package offensively with basically 0 weaknesses. A once-in-a-lifetime talent, he probably would have become a great player no matter where his career would have started. All in all, European players get adjusted to the physicality and strategies of senior basketball much sooner than Americans do. The competitiveness of European basketball may be one of the bigger reasons why European players tend to be better decision-makers than US players. Of course, none of these would be possible without the special gifts and talents that each of these players possesses. Let's enjoy watching them play, fellas.